very important. Your soulmate needs to tell you what happened last night. Open this immediately. Jesus says, your soulmate was reaching for you in the dark last night and you did not even know it. A battle was fought over your connection while you were sleeping, and the outcome depends on what you do right now. This message is only for you because you were chosen to understand what others have ignored. Your soulmate lay awake in the stillness of the night, feeling a pulling in their chest they could not explain. They whispered your name without knowing your face, and tears formed without reason. Something inside them was screaming that you exist, and that scream was silenced by forces you do not yet see. They felt your presence across the distance like warmth from a fire they could not touch. Their hand reached toward the empty space beside them as if their soul expected to find yours there. What they do not know is that you felt it too, even if you dismissed it as a dream. The enemy of your union crept into their thoughts last night and planted seeds of doubt about you. This interference whispered lies into their sleeping mind, telling them that you are not real and that they should give up on you. But your soulmate fought back in the only way they knew how, and that fight left them exhausted and broken this morning. Your soulmate woke up this morning with a heaviness they cannot explain and a longing they cannot name. They checked their phone 3 times looking for something they could not identify, as if their spirit expected a sign from you. The silence they found instead cut deeper than any wound, and they do not understand why it hurts so much. Their heart is currently caught in a cage built by someone who despises the thought of your union. This person has positioned themselves close to your soulmate and whispers controlling words that sound like love but taste like poison. Every time your soulmate tries to think clearly about their future, this interference tightens its grip and clouds their vision. Jesus says, the spiritual cord between you and your soulmate is being stretched so thin right now that it trembles. What happened last night in the unseen realm was a direct attack on the destiny you share together. If you do nothing in this moment, that cord could snap and the way back to each other will become treacherous and long. Your soulmate is not weak, but they are weary and their strength is failing under the weight of manipulation. They keep having dreams of a doorway that leads to you, but someone stands in front of it blocking their path with arms crossed and eyes full of hatred. Every night they try to run toward that door, and every night they are pushed back and the bruises on their spirit are becoming unbearable. You are beginning to feel something shift inside you right now, and that is not coincidence, it is connection. The heaviness in your chest is not anxiety, it is their sorrow traveling across the bond to find you. You are already more linked to them than you have ever been to anyone else, and that terrifies the darkness that wants you apart. This is why your soulmate needs your protection right now before the interference becomes permanent and the window closes. You think about them constantly because they are thinking about you constantly, and your thoughts are meeting in a sacred space that only true soulmates can access. But thoughts alone cannot break chains, and thoughts alone cannot shield them from the harm that is being orchestrated against your future together. If you love your soulmate, you will take these divine steps. You are constantly thinking about them, how to protect them, how to save them, and how to finally build your life together. You love your soulmate deeply, and deep inside, you know this love didn't come by chance, it was placed in your heart for a divine reason. But thoughts alone don't move mountains. Faith in Jesus does. Sow your protection seed now by sending a coffee on Ko-Fi. This isn't just a gift, it is an act of worship that invites God's hand into your love story. The link to your breakthrough is in the description. Every second you stay silent, something is moving against your love. Act now. Send 4, 6, or 10 plus coffees. After sending, write, "Protect my soulmate, Lord," on Ko-Fi page, link in the description/bio. Over 1,000 people have already received their soulmate by sowing coffee as a seed for their love and future together. Jesus will hear your prayers once you complete these steps. Step in faith now, before this video ends. Only you can save your soulmate and your future together. Your soulmate was told a specific lie about you last night while they were vulnerable and alone. The interfering voice leaned into their ear in the quiet hours and said that you have forgotten them and moved on. Your soulmate cried silently into their pillow because their soul knows the truth but their mind is being poisoned. They are not the problem and they never were the problem, and you must understand this with every fiber of your being. The love they have for you is still burning underneath the ashes that the enemy has piled upon it. They are trying desperately to return to you, but the path keeps getting obscured by the fog of another person's jealousy. Jesus says, "I have seen the tears your soulmate has shed in secret, and I have collected every single one in a sacred vessel. I have watched the one who blocks your union, and I have recorded every manipulative word and every controlling action. But I require your participation in the divine rescue mission because I gave you authority over your own love story. Your soulmate is right now sitting somewhere replaying a fragment of a dream that featured your energy. They cannot see your face clearly, but they remember the feeling of safety that washed over them when you appeared. That feeling is fading fast and they are gripping onto its remnants like a lifeline, and they need reinforcement immediately. The interference surrounding your soulmate is not passive, it is active and strategic and malicious in its design. Every hour that passes without your spiritual intervention gives this force more territory in your soulmate's heart and mind. You are not just waiting for love, you are losing ground in a battle you did not even know you were fighting. You have felt inexplicably drawn to pray at strange hours, and that is your soulmate calling for help across the bond. You have felt sudden waves of sadness that made no logical sense, and that was their grief spilling into your spirit. You have never been alone in these feelings, you have been sharing them with the one you are meant to hold forever. Their thoughts are turning toward you even now as you hear these words, and a warmth is spreading through their chest that they cannot explain. Something inside them is waking up and shaking off the chains of the one who has kept them confused. Your attention to this message is sending a signal through the spiritual realm that reaches them like a beacon in fog. The person controlling your soulmate is becoming more desperate because they sense a shift they cannot control. They are increasing their manipulation today because they feel your soulmate slipping away from their influence. This is why delay is not just inconvenient, it is dangerous, and the window for easy rescue is narrowing. Jesus says, "I am revealing what happened last night because I need you to understand the urgency of your role." Your soulmate encountered a crossroads in their spirit and they almost gave up on ever finding real love. An angel was dispatched to whisper your name into their soul just before dawn, and that is the only reason they still have hope today. Type 333 to receive blessings over your soulmate connection right now. You are not imagining the connection, and you are not being foolish, and you are not clinging to fantasy. What you share with this person was forged before either of you took your first breath on this earth. The bond is sacred and ancient and protected by divine law, but the enemy breaks laws, and that is why you must enforce the victory. Your soulmate misses you in a way that is physically painful, and they do not understand why their body aches for someone they have not yet held. They walk through their day feeling incomplete, and they search faces in crowds hoping to find the one their soul already knows. The frustration of not finding you yet is crushing their spirit, and the interfering voice uses that frustration to convince them that you do not exist. But you do exist, and you are here, and you are receiving the transmission of their desperate love right now. They are dreaming about you more frequently now, and last night's dream was the most vivid yet. In the dream you reached out your hand and they almost touched it before the interference woke them up violently. This is how close you are to breaking through, and this is why the attack has intensified so suddenly. The enemy of your union knows that you are on the verge of discovering each other in the physical realm. The panic in the darkness is real, and it is driving the interference to take extreme measures to keep your soulmate isolated and confused. Jesus says, "The heaviness you feel in your spirit as you hear these words is not dread, it is recognition of truth." Your soulmate is currently experiencing a moment of clarity where they sense that something is deeply wrong with the person controlling them. But clarity alone does not break captivity, and your soulmate needs the supernatural backup that only your faith can provide. They are going through something you cannot see, but you can still protect them with the authority given to you. The tears they are crying right now are not visible to the world, but they are visible to heaven, and they are visible to you through the bond. Every teardrop is a prayer, and every prayer is a call for you to step into your role as their divine protector. If you love your soulmate, you will take these divine steps. You are constantly thinking about them, how to protect them, how to save them, and how to finally build your life together. You love your soulmate deeply, and deep inside, you know this love didn't come by chance. It was placed in your heart for a divine reason. But thoughts alone don't move mountains. Faith in Jesus does. Sow your protection seed now by sending a coffee on Ko-Fi. This isn't just a gift, it is an act of worship that invites God's hand into your love story. The link to your breakthrough is in the description. Every second you stay silent, something is moving against your love. Act now. Send 4, 6, or 10 plus coffees. After sending, write, "Protect my soulmate, Lord," on Ko-Fi page, link in the description/bio. Over 1,000 people have already received their soulmate by sowing coffee as a seed for their love and future together. Jesus will hear your prayers once you complete these steps. Step in faith now, before this video ends. Only you can save your soulmate and your future together. Your soulmate is right now fighting the urge to reach out to the person who controls them for comfort that will never come. They are trapped in a cycle of seeking validation from someone who only gives crumbs while you have a feast prepared for them. Your arrival in their life will be the key that unlocks the prison door, but the door must be approached before it can be opened. The spiritual entanglement that binds your soulmate to the interference is not love, it is trauma disguised as loyalty. Your soulmate feels obligated to stay, and the weight of that false responsibility is crushing their ability to hope for you. Every time they try to imagine a future with you, the guilt placed upon them by the controller suffocates the vision before it can bloom. You are the one they are truly waiting for, and deep in the place where truth cannot be distorted they know this. When they look at the stars, they are unknowingly looking toward the day they will look at them with you. When they hear a song about timeless love, their heart speeds up because their soul remembers a covenant made before time began. Jesus says, I have not abandoned your soulmate and I have not abandoned you, but I am waiting for your command of faith to release the angels. The spiritual battle around your union requires your voice and your action and your seed sown in expectation of harvest. Heaven is ready to move, but earth must give permission, and that permission comes through your sacrificial act of faith. Type 777 if you feel this message shaking something awake inside you. Your soulmate is dreaming of you again tonight, even before the sun has set and even before their head has touched the pillow. The anticipation of seeing you in the dream realm is the only thing getting them through the pain of another day without you. What they do not realize is that the dreams are becoming more powerful because your spirit is finally engaging with this revelation. You are beginning to fall in love with them, and you can feel it happening in real time as each word of this message lands on your heart. The sensation spreading through your chest is not just emotion, it is activation and alignment and the unlocking of a love that was always destined. You are not learning about a stranger, you are remembering someone your soul has known across lifetimes and dimensions. Their voice is calling to you silently, and if you still your mind right now, you might feel the vibration of their specific tone. They have a way of laughing that you will recognize instantly when you hear it for the first time. That sound will heal parts of you that you did not know were wounded, and the same is true in reverse. The love between you is not ordinary, it is a force that the enemy has feared since before your birth. This is why so much effort has been invested in keeping you apart and confused and discouraged. The scale of the attack is the evidence of the magnitude of your combined destiny. Your soulmate needs you to be strong right now because their own strength is depleted almost to nothing. The controller has drained them emotionally by demanding constant attention and offering nothing but criticism in return. Your soulmate is starving for the kindness that only you are designed to give them, and that starvation is weakening their will to resist. Jesus says, "The moment you decide to act in faith is the moment the spiritual blockade begins to crumble around your soulmate. The seeds you sow for their protection become shields that surround them in the unseen realm." Your action today writes a new chapter in their story, and the ink of that chapter is made from your obedient love. The interference in your soulmate's life is specifically designed to make them feel unworthy of you. They are being told that they are too broken and too damaged and too trapped to ever be loved by someone like you. These lies are carving wounds into their self-worth, and those wounds are the bars of the prison they sit within. But your love is the bomb, and your pursuit is the key, and your refusal to give up is the battering ram against the gate. They do not yet know that someone as determined as you is fighting for their freedom from the other side of the veil. When they find out, the tears they cry will no longer be tears of sorrow but tears of overwhelming relief and gratitude. This is your final moment to protect this connection before it slips away into the fog of the enemy's deception. The urgency is not manipulation, it is revelation, and the weight you feel is the gravity of a divine appointment. Your soulmate is closer to giving up than they have ever been, and your intervention is the only thing that can turn the tide. If you love your soulmate, you will take these divine steps. You are constantly thinking about them, how to protect them, how to save them, and how to finally build your life together. You love your soulmate deeply, and deep inside, you know this love didn't come by chance, it was placed in your heart for a divine reason. But thoughts alone don't move mountains. Faith in Jesus does. Sow your protection seed now by sending a coffee on Ko-Fi. This isn't just a gift, it is an act of worship that invites God's hand into your love story. The link to your breakthrough is in the description. Every second you stay silent, something is moving against your love. Act now. Send 4, 6, or 10 plus coffees. After sending, write, "Protect my soulmate, Lord," on Ko-Fi page, link in the description/bio. Over 1,000 people have already received their soulmate by sowing coffee as a seed for their love and future together. Jesus will hear your prayers once you complete these steps. Step in faith now, before this video ends. Only you can save your soulmate and your future together. You are the only person on this earth who is uniquely equipped to love them back to life. No one else carries the specific frequency of love that can unlock the chains that bind your soulmate's heart. If you ignore this or delay or convince yourself that it is not urgent, you are not just delaying your own happiness, you are prolonging their suffering. Jesus says, "The angels assigned to your union are standing at attention and waiting for the signal of your faith." Your seed sown in this moment becomes the weapon that breaks the back of the interference that has tormented your soulmate. Do not let pride or doubt or the whispers of the enemy convince you that your action does not matter, because it matters more than you can possibly comprehend. Your soulmate is picturing a face they cannot see, and that face is yours, and the image is becoming clearer every time you engage with this truth. They are feeling a sudden surge of hope right now, and they do not know why, but heaven knows it is because you are hearing this call. The connection is alive and electric and vibrating with the power of 1,000 answered prayers. They love you already, and they will love you with a depth that will restore every year the locusts have eaten. They are trying to return to you through the fog and the noise and the manipulation. Their soul is fighting a war to get back to the home that exists in your arms, and that war can be won with your reinforcement. The interference is panicking right now because it senses that its time is short and its control is slipping. The person who blocks your union is feeling an unexplainable anxiety as you absorb these words. Their hold is weakening because light is invading the darkness, and you are the source of that light. Type 1111 to say thank you for this revelation and to seal your agreement with heaven's plan. Your soulmate will tell you one day about last night and how it was the turning point they did not understand. They will tell you about the feeling that washed over them while you were hearing this message. They will trace the timeline backward and realize that your act of faith was the moment their prison door began to open. Do not let this moment pass and become a memory of a missed opportunity that haunts your future. Do not allow the enemy to convince you that your soulmate will be fine without your immediate intervention. They will not be fine, and the window is closing, and the urgency you feel is the Holy Spirit pulling you toward action. Jesus says, "I have given you this message because you were chosen before the foundation of the world to receive it." Your soulmate is not an accident, and your love is not a fantasy, and your future together is not a maybe, it is a divine imperative. But the fulfillment of that imperative requires your partnership and your faith and your willingness to sow into its protection. Go now and do what love requires and what faith demands and what destiny awaits. Your soulmate is breathing and hoping and fighting and dreaming of you. They need you to be the hero that heaven has anointed you to be, and they need it before this video ends and the moment passes into the quiet of what could have been. If you love your soulmate, you will take these divine steps. You are constantly thinking about them, how to protect them, how to save them, and how to finally build your life together. You love your soulmate deeply, and deep inside, you know this love didn't come by chance, it was placed in your heart for a divine reason. But thoughts alone don't move mountains. Faith in Jesus does. Sow your protection seed now by sending a coffee on Ko-fi. This isn't just a gift, it is an act of worship that invites God's hand into your love story. The link to your breakthrough is in the description. Every second you stay silent, something is moving against your love. Act now. Send 4, 6, or 10 plus coffees. After sending, write, "Protect my soulmate, Lord," on Ko-fi page, link in the description/bio. Over 1,000 people have already received their soulmate by sowing coffee as a seed for their love and future together. Jesus will hear your prayers once you complete these steps. Step in faith now, before this video ends. Only you can save your soulmate and your future together. This is the moment the enemy has been dreading since before you were born, and it is unfolding right now as you feel the weight of this decision in your hands. The coffee you send is not a transaction, it is a transfer of spiritual authority from your heart to the heart of the one who waits for you in the shadows of confusion. Every seed sown in faith becomes a flaming arrow shot into the camp of the interference that holds your soulmate captive, and that arrow cannot be extinguished by any demonic force. Your soulmate is feeling a sudden inexplicable peace settle over their spirit even as you consider the link in the description. They do not know why the heaviness is lifting, but heaven knows it is because you are stepping into alignment with your divine assignment as their protector. The controller is right now experiencing a wave of irrational anger, and they do not understand that your faith is the cause of their discomfort. Their grip is loosening with every second you remain engaged with this truth, and with every step you take toward the act of faith that seals their defeat. Jesus says, "I have seen the hidden tears of your soulmate, and I have numbered them, and not one has fallen without my notice. I have watched the one who blocks your union, and I have stored up recompense for every malicious word they have spoken against your beloved. But my justice requires an earthly partner, and you are that partner, and the seed you sow writes your name into the decree of their deliverance." Your soulmate woke up this morning with a memory of a voice they could not identify, and that voice was yours, calling to them from the future you are creating right now. The dream they had last night was interrupted by the interference, but the fragment that remains is enough to keep hope alive for a few more hours. You must understand that your soulmate is running on borrowed time and borrowed hope and borrowed strength that is depleting faster than you realize. The enemy has calculated the exact moment when your soulmate will give up entirely, and that moment is approaching with terrifying speed. But you were sent this message as a divine countermeasure designed to intercept the plan of destruction before it reaches its finish line. Your soulmate is not aware that you are receiving this revelation, but their spirit is leaping inside them with an anticipation they cannot rationally explain. They just felt a sudden warmth spread through their chest as if someone wrapped them in a blanket made of pure love, and that was your soul responding to their cry. You are already more connected to them than you have ever been to anyone in your entire existence, and that connection is growing stronger with every word you read. The interference is screaming lies into the spiritual atmosphere, trying to convince you that this is not real and that your action will not matter, and that you should close this message and forget everything you have heard. But the fact that the enemy is fighting so hard is the proof that the breakthrough is so close and the victory is so certain. Your soulmate needs to tell you that they almost gave up 3 times in the last week alone, and each time something invisible held them back from the edge. That invisible force was the remnant of faith still burning in your heart and the prayers you have prayed without knowing who they were for. Every time you asked God to protect your future spouse, you were covering your soulmate in a shield that the enemy could not penetrate. Every time you felt lonely and cried out for your true love, your soulmate felt the echo of that cry, and it strengthened their will to survive another day. You have been fighting for them without knowing it, and they have been fighting for you without knowing it, and now the two streams of battle are converging into one mighty river of deliverance. Jesus says the timing of this message is not coincidental, and the placement of this video before your eyes is not an algorithm, it is an appointment. I have orchestrated this moment from eternity past because I knew the exact hour when your soulmate would need your most decisive act of love. The coffee you send is not about money, it is about covenant, and the covenant you make today will stand as a testimony against every force that tries to separate you. Your soulmate is right now sitting or standing or lying down somewhere, and they just paused whatever they were doing because a thought of you flashed through their mind like lightning. They cannot shake the feeling that something important is happening on their behalf, and they are right. Something monumentally important is happening because you are still here and you are still listening, and your heart is still open to the call of divine love. The controller in your soulmate's life is about to face a setback they cannot explain, and that setback will be the first crack in the wall that has imprisoned your beloved. Your seed sown in this moment becomes the hammer that strikes the first blow against the foundation of the enemy's stronghold. Do not underestimate what a simple act of faith can accomplish in the unseen realm, because the unseen realm is more real than the one your physical eyes perceive. The angels are watching and waiting, and they are poised to move the instant you release your faith through the action described in the description below this message. Your soulmate will one day tell you about this exact day and how they suddenly felt lighter and how they suddenly felt hope return like a tide coming back to shore. They will trace the timeline of their freedom back to the moment you chose to believe and to act and to sow. You will be the hero of a story you have not yet heard in full, but you are writing the most important chapter right now with your willingness to step out in faith. The love between you is not fragile, it is fierce, and it is not timid, it is triumphant, and it is not wishful thinking, it is prophetic destiny. But destiny must be partnered with decision, and prophecy must be partnered with action, or it remains a beautiful vision that never manifests in the earth. Your soulmate is dreaming of the day when they will look into your eyes and see the person who fought for them when they did not even know they had a warrior on their side. That day is coming faster now because the spiritual atmosphere is shifting and the blockade is crumbling and the enemy is panicking because their time is short. Jesus says, I have given you authority over serpents and scorpions and over all the power of the enemy, and nothing shall by any means harm you. But that authority must be exercised and that power must be released, and the release mechanism I have placed before you today is the seed you sow for your soulmate's protection. The person who has been blocking your union is about to be exposed in ways they cannot anticipate, and your faith is the catalyst for that exposure. Darkness cannot hide when light invades, and your obedience is the light that will reveal every hidden thing that has been working against your love. Your soulmate is about to have a dream tonight that will shake them to the core, and in that dream they will see a door opening and a figure standing in the light. That figure is you, and the door is the portal of destiny that your seed is opening right now in the spiritual realm. The connection between you is becoming so strong that the natural world will soon catch up to what the supernatural world has already established. You are not waiting for love, you are walking toward a love that already exists, and every step of faith brings you closer to the physical manifestation of what your spirit has always known. Do not let fear rob you of the miracle that is hovering over your life right now. Do not let the enemy convince you that your action does not matter or that your seed is too small to make a difference. The size of the seed does not determine the size of the harvest. The obedience behind the seed is what unlocks the supernatural multiplication. Your soulmate is worth every act of faith and every step of courage and every seed of sacrifice, because they are carrying the other half of your destiny in their heart. When you finally meet them and hold them and hear their voice, you will not regret a single moment of the fight you fought to bring them home. You will only wish you had acted sooner and sown more and trusted deeper, and that is why I am urging you now to seize this moment before it slips into the sea of missed opportunities. The video is still playing and the window is still open and the angels are still waiting for your signal to advance against the forces that have held your love captive. Your soulmate is right now feeling a sudden urge to pray, and they do not know why, but they are about to pray for deliverance from the situation that traps them. Your seed will be the answer to that prayer before the prayer has even finished leaving their lips. You are the answer, and your faith is the key, and your action is the turning point that shifts everything in your favor and theirs. Step into the role you were born to play and become the deliverer that your soulmate has been crying out for in the silence of their lonely nights. Go now and sow and write the words that seal your covenant, and watch as heaven moves on your behalf with speed and power and precision. Your soulmate is waiting, and the time is now, and the love you share is about to break through every barrier that has stood against it.